In this video, we'll take a look at part 1 of our Windows 10 and Office 2016 training. So before we get into some of the specifics, I want to highlight two concepts, digital literacy and computer basics, that will help us as we think through learning about a new technology. So to start off, literacy. So in this case, we just mean that people can read and write using English language or whatever language that they are fluent in. When we think about digital literacy, we mean that they are able to, use the technology tools, the resources to create information and understand the information that's presented to them in a digital form. And then when we talk about computer basics, we know that computers come in all different shapes and sizes. And there are a lot of different physical components and parts and pieces that make up a computer. And some of these components we call core components. You don't really see them. They're on the inside of the computer, like CPU, RAM, and storage. And there's other devices such as the monitor, mouse, keyboard, things like that we call human interface devices. So when we're talking about those human interface devices, they're really just there for you as the human, not the computer. The computer doesn't need those to run or to operate or whatever. So especially when we think about the screen, all the buttons and options that are presented to you on the screen are there for you as the human user to operate and work and click on it to use the computer and use your digital literacy skills. The second aspect of that is that we want you to be intentional about your digital literacy tasks and to think about what your end goal is and what you are trying to accomplish. We can compare this to taking small steps to get where you are going to complete a larger goal. Just like you put nouns and verbs in different orders to complete different sentences in English, you'll do the same thing by putting different digital literacy steps in different orders to complete different tasks. Now let's take a moment to look at the Windows 10 layout and some common buttons that you'll see when using your computer. And I think that it helps to see or to put names to some of these items to just give you a better way of thinking about them and using those digital literacy skills. So in the bottom left-hand corner, Windows, you have a Start button. When you click on that, then it pops up this menu here, the Start menu. This whole section down here along the bottom is called the taskbar. And we have pinned apps. Any of these apps that we have down here are pinned down there. And if you open a new app that's not already pinned, you can right-click it, and that will pin it, and then get the option to pin it down there. And then we have our system tray over here, and that's where you can see the time and date and some of these options that are over here. And now on this slide, we have some of the other common buttons that you might see as you're using your computer and completing tasks. So on the left here we have this hamburger menu. I like to call it a pancake stack, but whatever works for you. And then we have our plus button. That's going to allow us to create something new. We have this drop down arrow or the three dots. Those are little indicators. Hey, there's more. There's like a settings or more menu options beneath here that we can get to. We have the 9 boxes, which is common in a lot of Google products to switch between the different products and tools. And then we have a gear icon that's pretty common for getting to more settings. All right, and that wraps up part 1 of our Windows 10 and Office 2016 training.